Welcome back. In this video, we're going to learn how to create request forms in Ravetree. I'm just going to click on the navigator and we'll go to the admin section and then we'll click on request forms. Let's create a new one. You can create project request forms or work item request forms. In this case, let's create a project request form and we'll just call this, let's say, landing page. For each request form, you have to select an approval workflow. At least one person has to be notified when a request is submitted. You can have multiple reviewers. You can even have them tiered. What we're going to do here is we're just going to select an existing approval workflow. I'll just select this one. And in this case, as you can see, we just have one reviewer. So anytime a landing page request form is submitted, Brandon will be notified. In this option, we're allowing the user to attach files as a part of their request form submission. Now, as a reminder, request forms can be submitted both internally by going here and selecting request, but also clients can submit request forms. Okay, and if you don't want the client to view a particular request form, you can just turn it off. This option will allow for the client to come along for the ride, so to speak, when a request form has been submitted. In other words, if the client submits a request form, you may want, in this case being a project request, you may want that project associated with the client. So that's what this option will allow you to do. One of the things that makes request forms really powerful is the ability to connect them to project templates. Okay, so if you click here, you can link a request form to a project template, and let's just say, this one. What would happen in this case is whenever you approve a request that comes in of type landing page, it will automatically generate a project from this project template. And this is a template that we've already created elsewhere. We have other videos that describe how to create project templates. Now in this section, this is where you specify the fields that you want to show up on your request form. Okay, so title is always required. Let's say project type, we could make that an optional field, or we could make it required, or we could even set the value. And let me show you what this means. If you set the value, then what we're going to do is we're going to say whenever you submit a landing page project request, it has to come in as, I don't know, let's say SEO. Okay, and these are custom project types that you can set up elsewhere in Ravetree. But what happens here is whenever the user submits this request form, it's always going to have that as its project type. And let's add a few other fields: start date, end date. By the way, any custom fields that you may have added would be available to you as options on this form. So that's essentially it. Once you click save, the request form would then be available up here in this menu. So if we click request, the user selects either project or work item request. Project request is what's selected, and therefore we can see all the different project request forms, such as this one. And as you can see, we have this nice form that's been fully customized for this purpose. Just so you are aware, the fields in this section up here are always going to be a part of any request form. Okay, the user can specify the date by which they need that request approved, priority, and then again, if you have allowed for them to attach files, this would show up. So technically this is one that may or may not be there depending on what options you have selected for that request form.